I will be informing the audience of the harsh reality known as sexual discrimination in the workplace. Sexual discrimination is still very common in today's society, and while there are laws and such making it illegal in the workplace, it is still a very serious issue that exists in our society. Imagine yourself in a situation where you're having a stressful late night study session, spending your weekends at the library, doing homework, studying, or even putting work at your job, only to be passed over to someone with the same or even less qualifications than you for your internship or promotion, simply because they are a different sex. Men and women are both subjects to it, but obviously the heavier side of the coin falls to women being treated unfairly in the workforce. I'm an advocate for critical thinking. If two people have the same credentials, why should there be inequalities at work? Some examples of and women's sexual discrimination are: women cannot be hired for not being pretty enough. Like sales, a perfect example would be Hooters. Women being called provocative is an actual thing in the workplace. A woman has to be expected to dress a certain way, which isn't ethical or the right way to do things at all. The balanced careers say that women are also more likely to be judged by their looks and how they dress than their male counterparts. Throughout the past couple of years, the company Microsoft alone has had a total of 238 complaints, all being from women. 108 of the complaints were sexual assault, and the other 119 complaints were gender discrimination lawsuits. Most women are judged based upon looks, which is absolutely wrong. There is a surplus of statistics showing blatant proof of sexual discrimination at work. Research conducted a survey of roughly 4,900 adults. 10% of working women say that they have been passed over certain assignments of importance simply believing it was due to sexual discrimination. 25% reported that they have earned less than a man that does the same job. 42% say that they have faced discrimination. Another survey by the Washington Post showed 54% of women being interviewed reporting unwanted sexual male advances. 30% of those were at work. Something in the recent news would be the Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, where you have someone so high in power, even being supported by the president, be able to get confirmed as a justice without even enough investigating into the matter of an attempted rape. Things get brushed off to the side. It's horrible. Things like that shouldn't exist. All complaints need to be taken away. All complaints need to be taken way more seriously instead of dismissed. One example of male sexual discrimination is accusing the man of sexual assault without the knowledge of whatever happened. It has happened plenty of times where the court only listens to what the woman has to say because women are viewed as more weak. Many times there have been cases where the women have taken advantage of this and taken advantage of the individual's power because they can't even prove some of the cases that they come and they still make the men guilty. Kavanaugh's case had millions of eyes on it because he was running for the Supreme Court of Justice, but there are hundreds of cases going on at this very moment where men are getting convicted by women lying. The number is so big I couldn't even guesstimate because a lot of situations are not even reported. The Harvard Business Review reports 90% of women in the restaurant industry have experienced some sort of sexual harassment. The Harvard Business Review also stated that 70% of restaurant workers are women making an average of $15,814 a year, which is barely above the minimum wage line. So a common reason for not speaking up is them not in needing needing a job. If they experience harassment from their boss, they they put they get put in a predicament that no one should ever be in. It's should I speak up and risk a job that is helping me get by? Another prominent example here is waiters and waitresses relying on tips to pay the bills. The customer is always right mentality, where harassment from a customer is brushed aside to not cause a scene or a situation which should instead be reported. A big problem by a big problem is bystanders too. People don't choose to get involved, which is sort of a moral issue. Sexual discrimination is a blatant issue that needs to be spoken about more and needs stricter policies and actually be recognized. Your sex should not be an issue in the workplace. The thing that matters is the individual's ability to work hard and do everything to achieve that specific goal in their own company or issue in life. Statistics are too high and need more attention, which leads to my final point where every complaint should be taken seriously and everyone should speak up when they see any that seems sort any of this seems of sort. If every complaint were looked into every detail, that many people's lives would be saved, both men and women. You can Google this very issue right now, and an endless number of cases will pop up because this is how major this issue is. It is hard to believe that these issues still exist in today's